Well, hello guys, I am back with an update. I know it's been a while. Uh, for those of you who don't know, I was working on my sister's house, well, my mother's old house, but I gutted it and redid the entire house. It took me longer than I expected. So that explains my absence in the last, little bit. But I have been working during that time, and I have reached a point. I shot some stuff the other day about doing the arms. On the sculpture, I am making real progress, and I've got 3 weeks to finish it to where it's presentable to the warning to see if they'll be cool with partnering with me on doing a limited edition run of these. Anyway, I have done better with getting the face done. You'll see in one of the other parts of this, I had done a casting of this face, a mold, and the silicone didn't set and left slimy mold all over it. So I got some mineral spirits, got it all cleaned off. So yay. It's not trashed, and I can go back to working on it because it's actually coming along quite well. And I've talked about the steps that have been taking me so long to get this done. I will zoom in and do a closer shot on these in just a second. But this is the one that I had first, found out I had all kinds of issues with it. And then this is the one that I just finished that I am pretty happy with. There's still some refining that I'll probably do if this goes forward. Little things, there's little things at the top that are going to be covered by hair. I'm not too worried about them. I put a base coat on this. This is actually going to be, I'm going to be painting this and showing that on the channel. So this will be, once it's painted, will be the finished prototype painting. I painted this, wanted it matte black. I bought this Krylon matte black paint, and when it went on, it came out almost gloss, which was kind of distressing because I really want this to be pretty much matte black to match the material of her actual shirt, because I've got all the patterns in it and everything. I'm probably insetting stuff right now of me, close-up shots of it. But I got the hole in the bottom so that it will fit onto the next section, and I'm really quite happy with it. Got the stuff in the back. The wrinkles all came out really nice. So that is good. I got the arms. I put the first base coat on there so that I can start painting the arms. I have both of them. This is the playing the bass hand, actually hitting the strings, and this is the fret hand where it will be up holding the neck. And they both turned out quite nice. I will be painting these as well and showing the progress on that. Now that I've got these done and this done, I can figure out where it's going to sit on the body, and then I'll do it with the white one. I think it'll be easier to see, although maybe, yeah, it's a little flatter. So I'll be able to start getting the arm done so that this can go onto it, and that will work. And then this arm, on this side, with this hand coming up to hold the base. And of course I'll have to position them wherever they go. But now I've got the actual registration little pieces here so that I can mold it to where it all forms perfectly. And I'll be getting to those actually fairly quickly. This one actually is, arm-wise, the shape of it is not too bad. I just have to conform it to how it's going to sit. I've got to get this kind of mounted onto the body over here. Sorry, I was looking up at the monitor. I got to get this mounted on the body with the torso and all that so that I know where the arms need to point before I actually finish them. So everything's a step. But now I'm to the point that every day I'm making progress towards the final goal. And the fact that I am to the point that I am about to paint, you know, two forearms, and this part is a really good thing, because I plan on finishing little sections every day. I plan today to work on probably painting this and these. That's my plan. As far as other things go, anyway, I'll get to those in just a minute, but I'll be getting back to reactions and painting. It depends on how all of this goes. When Rockville happens, if I end up being able to make these to sell to everybody, of course partnered with the warning, so that's my plan, so that they're making money. And anyway, if it goes well, then I will be doing probably 50 to 75 of these, and that will eat up a lot of time, but I will be mostly just working on that and doing my channel, which I got a copyright strike today, which was really annoying. For my cover of those shoes by the Eagles, they, instead of just saying, oh, sorry, that's copyright, and taking it down, they gave me a copyright strike. And you only get 3, and then they shut down your channel. So I am appealing it to the company. Hopefully it will work out. So wish me luck. And I will see you all next time. Bye. Alright guys. I'm going to go with the flat flesh and see what happens. And what I'm going to do to start with is water it down and put it on that way. See how it does. Alright. And what I want to do is really get it down in there. Let's do a little more water. But I really want to get it down in the grooves so that hopefully I'll be able to go on top of the lace part with the black and the flesh colors still show through. At least that's the plan. And what I'll do is go ahead and use a less watered down part for the fingers, because they are obviously going to be real flesh. Or at least real flesh colored, you know what I mean. Now I haven't worked with acrylics in a long time, so I don't know how quickly they dry. I imagine they're going to dry pretty quick. And I'm going to be doing washes on top of this in red and things like that to try and get some warmth to the skin tones and not so yellow. So, well, let's hope I got down in there good enough. Well, let's give it a try of painting the black on top and see if anything shows through. We're going to do extremely dry brush. This underside part's actually looking pretty good. I really wish this stuff didn't dry so quick. It's one of the reasons I like oil paints. Got a little more time to work, but then when you are doing layers like this, then it becomes a problem because you have to wait so long between layers. So in the future, I may go ahead and do oils. Alright, well, not bad. It looks really splotchy right now, but there's still a little pattern that goes over the entire thing that will diminish a lot of the splotchiness. So let's see if the other arm goes a little better now that I know a little more of what I'm doing. One thing I'm going to try. I'm a little shocked my lace idea worked as well as it did. I may end up pouring new arms after I finish these to have another run at it and maybe use the oils this time. It'll depend on how these look when they're done. See right there where it filled in a little too much. I probably will have to print, do new arms and figure out a better way, but overall I'm really happy with the fact that the color's showing through the way it is, and like I say, I'll know more after I paint. Alright guys, round two. So I do like this. I don't like this. I don't like the splotchiness, but that looks pretty good. So I have decided I'm going to go ahead and do the acrylic again, which is what these are. Do the acrylic paint for the underlayment. That right there, got a little line there. I think it'll be okay. So I will use the acrylic for that, and then I'm going to use black oil on top of that to finish these off and really take my time with it, because before I was just kind of seeing, I thought that the quicker I went, the better, but I'm starting to think, you know what, I think I'll take my time with it, really let it settle in. So that's what I'm going to do, and while I'm doing that, I'm watching the Allison Hagendorf interview with the Warning. Or I guess I should say listening, because I'll be doing this, but anyway, wish me luck. I got better pour this time, so not too much in the way of bubbles. So this time I'm going to go ahead and mix the red and the flesh color together and just work really fast. Do a little more water right up front. Okay. Oh yeah, I think I like this way better. I think this is just going to take one little wash and I'll be okay to start the black here soon. Let's see if this helps. Oh yeah, that's a little better. Just wanted to get a little more of the peachy color in there. And I thinned it way down so it'll hopefully get into the holes really well. So we'll let that dry and come back. See how that looks. I'm going to look at my reference stuff real quick, which I will throw up on screen so you can see what I'm working with and see if this works. Alright guys, let's give it another go. So now I've got my oils, and yeah, there's some mineral spirits if I need them. But what I'm going to do is be a lot more deliberate this time and really take my time. So what I'm going to do to start with is go ahead and get around the fingers and just really take my time this time. Because I want this to be perfect. Not that it'll ever be perfect, I mean, let's face it, but at least I can give myself a good start. Alright, so now I'm going to move to putting in the individual things. I'll throw up on screen how the gloves are supposed to look, and now I'm going to work on that part. Alright, bye. Alright, so this is still not finished. I've still got a lot more to go. I've got all the silver rings around here, and then adding a little bit of color maybe into here, just a tiny bit, and then I may add some thickness to some of these so that the lace doesn't show through as well. But I gotta say, I'm pretty damn happy with it. There, so I've still got the fingernails and the fingers to get the color right. So, but I really couldn't be that much more happy with it than this. So, see you next little segment. Well, hey there, guys. So I did some work on her upper torso here. I'm gonna buy some matte spray to kind of kill down the shininess a little bit, because it's still a little shinier than I want it to be. But it's coming along. I put a couple more coats of black on it, done a little bit of blue highlighting on here, but I've got some more work to do generally. And then the back, but when it's not so shiny, it's going to look a lot better. So I will be getting some matte lacquer spare, or not lacquer, but some matte spray. It doesn't look quite as shiny here in the room as it does catching all the light on here, but anyway, so there we go. And I am gonna start working on getting the stomach area and the arms done next. So see you next time. I am back because I decided to work on the pants and all that today to be able to add in the torso and get the positioning on the body that I want. The pants right now are, structurally there. They look a little bit squat in this picture. It doesn't look that way here. It's just the reflection, the way the lens is picking it up. It's kind of stretching it sideways, but it actually looks a little taller here. But what I wanted to show you was originally I had the pants were down about here because I was thinking that I didn't want them up too high. But as I looked at the pictures more and more, I decided if I'm trying to capture that error tour feel, I should stick with what she was wearing on that tour, and those pants are really high-waisted, come up over her belly button and everything. So I went ahead and added this top part, which also gives me a much cleaner line to work with, and then the pants dip in the front and in the back because of just structurally. And then once I added that, I was like, okay, now this looks more like Allie through the hips and everything, because she's got a very long build, and it looks much better now with the pants. I'm going to work on them today, and then the middle section, the midsection here, I'm going to use really hard clay so that when I put the top section on, it will have good support, and then I'll see if I need to widen out anything or make it bigger to match the top. But that's where I'm at now, and I'm going to take my phone and shoot down into it and show you kind of how that's working. Here, let me go ahead and spin it around, and you can see I already started on the wrinkles in the front of the pants and everything before. So now I can go in, and it looks like I come a little bit high right here. I need to bring that down. So just little things like that I'll have to work on. But the pants do ride up right here on the hip. So I'll just bring it down a little bit. And it's coming along really well. She actually stands on her own without the glass now that she doesn't have all the extra weight up top. And then I will just work my way down, and I think it's coming along pretty great. Well, alrighty guys, I have done some work on here. I went ahead and heated up my hard clay in a coffee cup and got it soft enough to be able to pour into the got it soft to where it was like a putty almost, and then worked it in above the pants where I had raised them. I've extended it out a little further than she probably actually will be so that I can shave it off to get her shape about right, but it's pretty damn close. I'll have to shave back here, round this out. Of course I had the wrinkles back in, add in the back indentation here, give shape in here again. It's firming up now, but it's not totally firm yet, so I can't work on it. And then of course get that shaved in a little bit more, but I'm liking the way it's looking. So hopefully you all agree. And then we'll be able to start adding back in the arms. Add that one back in, which will actually go about there because the arm will come down. But now that it's solid, I also had it go up inside this with the round part that I'd cut out so that I can take this off to work on it if I want to. But now that it's hard, it won't shift on me the way this clay that's a little softer does. So it should maintain its shape. And the last thing I'll do is put it on and make sure it's perfect to sit down on there when I pour the mold. So anyway, that's where we are at, and I'm pretty happy about it. So I'm going to be working on this tonight. Like I said, every day is going to be progress towards the finished product now. And well, I shouldn't say finished. I should say towards the prototype for the pitch is really what it is. So because I know that they'll have changes and things if they want to go forward with it, so there's no point in doing final molds and things until I find out if there are changes they want. So I will move on and work on the next part and start working on the stomach and getting all of the pants area done, and then that will allow me to start working on the arms next. All right. I have gotten the basic arm shapes in and on the body. I raised her torso up slightly, started working on the musculature to give her a little bit of washboard abs, you know, because the girls do work at it. They might as well have it reflected in their statues, right? So let me see if I can turn this without the arms falling off. So they're just started, but they are looking pretty cool. So also got her slimmed down some. Started working on the muscles in her back and slimmed this down through here. I got to bring that in just a tiny bit to kind of give it that, you know, angled in and then out. But it sure is helpful having the shirt and all that the way it's supposed to be. So anyway, I'm moving on. I'll update you after I work on the arms and all a little bit, because I'm going to take them off to work on them. I have gone through and worked on the arms. They are not perfect. They're the next step in finishing this up, but it's going to be enough for the prototype in order to convey what I'm trying to accomplish here. But I need to sand a little more under here to make these fit better. But see, goes onto there, and after that attaches, which I'll do after I paint. Then this goes on here. All right, and I'm getting ready to do the flush color on the paint is where I'm at the moment. So basically we're talking, there we go there, and then this one goes on here, and of course this arm go on there. I'm still quite happy with how the hands and the arms turned out. So get that going for me. Okay, these aren't as smooth as I would like them to be. They've got little micro bubbles all through them, but I'm not worried about that at the moment. This is really to convey how the overall thing is going to look. They had little spaces. I just kind of filled them. But this is just to get an overall look for it and go ahead and do the painting and figure out where issues are so that I can address those issues on the finished one. Now these aren't perfect yet because every time I pour a new mold, it costs money. Something else I did was I finally got the head mounted on a neck area that now mounts into here. Now of course I'm not done with the face yet, but it is coming along. So that's where I'm at there. I need to spray this with some matte, but I want to do a little more painting on it first. I may spray the matte on it and then paint, but I'm not sure yet. And I also have to get the little bits of clay out that I've been getting in it. So anyway, that's where that's at. What I'm going to do now is go ahead and put some washes over this to start giving these some color. Now, of course, if this was going to be the finished product, I'd be filling all these little holes and, well, actually, I probably would have just re-poured. But at this point, I have about $1,500 into this statue. And so everywhere I can save a little bit of money, because, you know, I was learning to sculpt, so I kept making mistakes. So every mold costs money. Every time you pour resin costs money. It's not like you make mistakes and then just, you know, etch-a-sketch it away by shaking the thing. Every time you do it, you have to order more product, and that is where I have been at. It's just ordering more and more product. But anyway, once I hopefully meet with them and show them this and get notes on what they would want fixed, then I would go through and do the fixes and make my final molds, which will be a lot cleaner than what I've got here. But that's, you know, assuming that I can meet with them and all that. We'll see, because I do want to discuss with them the possibility of doing the other two girls and doing this as a commemorative collector's edition kind of thing for their error tour. Alright, so got the arm, and once this mounts on here, that's kind of where we're at there for the moment. Which isn't looking too bad. Okay, this guy. Still needs a little work, obviously, but it's not quite as smooth as the other, but the final mold will be really smooth and no air bubbles, and I can do a little bit more contouring up here around the shoulder. But this will give the overall idea. And I'll do some contour with paint, and maybe even go ahead and fill in some of these that I didn't notice as much till I painted. Alrighty guys, it is paint day. I went through and I filled a bunch of the spots in here that were really blatant, and just filled them with wood filler to at least get it closer. And today I'm going to do the overall shading and painting and washes and all of that that needs to get done. And what I will do is use this light up here to kind of give me where I'm going to paint. And like right here, if I hold this, you can see the shadows catch under the muscles, and so I'll use that as somewhat of a reference. And then I will also add in some that didn't get added in the sculpting, and I'm going to do a lot of dry brushing, I believe. So we're going to see how that goes. I'm going to do kind of contouring on both arms. Let me show you too. I got new sets of paints. There we are. There's one part of it. It's a 48 piece set. And I think it's going to work out quite well. At least we hope it does. So what I'm going to do first is do a little bit of highlighting. This will be all in stages because I'll be doing highlighting and shadowing, and then some, what a lot of people do is the washes on top first, to kind of get an overall look. I think I'm going to do the washes after. Probably all wrong, but that's okay. I can be all wrong if I want, right? I haven't dry brushed much with acrylics, so I'm not sure how well they do. And I'm going to be very subtle with the build-up. What I'll do is go ahead and start a little heavier. Spread it around. Now I'll probably do this with a airbrush later. But for now, I'm just going to do this. But on the final product, I'll be using airbrush most likely. I think what this needs is a little bit of red. Okay, it's a sketchy start. I get too much shine on the camera, but hopefully you can see difference. everything's a little exaggerated on the camera. Let me try going a little bit brighter. So it's a decent start. Still got washes to do and things to kind of smooth everything out. I'm just kind of getting a, like I say, a sketch going. So that's where we're at the moment. All right, let me get to the other arm. Hey guys, so I got both arms basically painted. They look a little splotchier than they do here in person, and the way the light catches is all a little different. But anyway, got them started to the point that I can go ahead and start doing the hands. See, this one looks a little better because it was a better sculpt to start with. It's a little smoother overall. But anyway, they look a lot better here in person, as is always the case. They'll still get a couple of washes over them, which will smooth everything out even more. But what I'm going to do now is, since this is going to go on here, and the fingers are a wholly different color, I need to paint the fingers. So that is what I'm going to do. I'm going to tell you, I've got Warning's new song stuck in my head all day today. It's really growing on me in a big way. And the other one is Amore, which I have finished recording my vocals for on a cover I'm doing with the backing track that they gave me through Patreon. And I'll probably add a little bit of guitar in on it as well. Alright, so color-wise, that is a little better. Now, she does not do red fingernail polish, so there will be a very slight tint, but not a lot. Alrighty. Back this off a little bit. There we go. I think it's a good start. I think while I've got that little bit of red, I'm going to go ahead and throw it in here in the lines of her arm. And a little bit right in there. There we go. So we're off to a really good start. Let me go ahead and grab this, kind of stick it on there. There we go. You can kind of see how we're coming there. Hello again, boys and girls. I am back. Let's zoom in a little bit. So I am working now on the hair, I've got the face pretty good. It's still not perfect, but it's pretty good. There we go. I think her chin's a little bit long, but I am getting there. And of course, like I said before, the smile will come in the eyes, especially once the paint job is done, because paint job is highly important. Alright, so I have started on the hair. That is not finished, by the way. It's laying out the lines and the textures right now. So, got a lot of that going. And then where it's going to overlay the arms and things like that. So, anyway, I figured I'd show you kind of how I'm doing it. For instance, like her hair in the back, she usually, in a lot of the videos, she has a 3-tier cut. So the top comes down over a layered section here, and then over a layered section on the bottom where it gets thinner. So that's what I'm doing, is working on trying to get that and then have the hair go different directions. So what I do is I take this little tool here and basically carve out the depressions in it. And I want it to be not too uniform, because it should have some movement to it. I wish I had thought to film when I started doing the hair on the tops and the sides, because it actually went pretty well. And like on the sides here, I'm going to want a little more swoop. Swoop! There it is. And what I'll do is do just kind of the rough layout, and then I'll go back and start refining. And I'll also do some hairs on top here that kind of overlay the next layer down. So I'll carve out in here. And after I get all these done, I'll also overlay a few hairs here and there to go the opposite direction to give it more of that quality. Alright, so actually that's looking pretty good so far. And I try not to get squiggly lines, because that's a dead giveaway, you know. Nobody has squiggly lines in their hair. But sometimes you get a little shaky on the way down, and it just happens. And for all of you who don't know, which probably most of you do, this is my first sculpture, so this is also my first time sculpting hair. And I gotta say, I kind of like it. It's fun and actually turning out kind of how I want it to, because there are very stylized hair choices on some of the statues that you get, the superhero-y statues. But I didn't want something like that. I wanted it to look fairly natural. There we go. So start getting some flow and movement in her hair, because I mean, in the pose she's in, it's during a rock show, so her hair should not be perfect. And just to give you an idea how I'm going to do it, once I get to a certain point, I will start doing little hairs like this, fill them in and have them go across so that, you know, and lay on top so that I get the layering correct and give the hair a little more movement. If you get the gist. And then of course at the bottom is going to be where it gets thinner. So I'm going to need to actually take out a lot more because her hair at the bottom she doesn't have real thick. And this will be the tricky part when I go to do the mold, because it's got to lay on the back correctly. Right now I'm doing a prototype basically, so I want it to look pretty good, but I'm not worried about the final thing, because if I do partner with them and they have some say in the statue, then I want to leave myself room for making changes before I make a final mold. And so, you know, this is kind of I wouldn't even call it a rough sketch. It's a much more defined sketch than that, but it's kind of like a rough sketch of what the final product will be. And as I said earlier in the video, probably, if I conclude this with the other stuff I shot earlier, I'm hoping to do a run of about 50 to 75 of these. Let me know in the comments if it's something you might be interested in, and you should know the price point is going to be high because I'm making them all on my own. It's not going to be like $1,000 or any shit like that, or anything like that. But it'll be comparably priced to a lot of the superhero type statues, but not as much as many of them, because the time it takes to make one of these is quite a bit, and I'll be doing it all myself. So, and then of course I want to figure in money for the warning. So we'll see if that works out. Hopefully we'll find out when Rockville gets here. You know, actually that's looking kind of good. So, you know, I don't even know how this is going to look before I actually do it. Because of it being the first time, I'm like guessing my way through. But having painted for years, I have somewhat of a good idea. And I'm using the top part here, a scrap one, so that I don't have to worry about accidentally gouging it or something like that with the tools. Want to be able to leave spaces down here. There we go. Well, that's a start. It's starting to get some nice texture and depth to it. I'm like I say, as I finish each of these sections, then I'll go in and put these overlaying hairs on top that will kind of give that extra layering to it. So that gives you an idea how things are going. Just figured I'd catch you up a little bit. When more comes out on, I believe, the 12th, I'll be doing a reaction video to that, and I will also show you then where I'm at, because like I said, I've got till the 19th to get this done if I can set up a time to meet with them. So not a whole lot of time left. Today is the 6th. So I'm pushing it a little bit here. All right. I think I'll have this one separate off a little bit. Go kind of like that. All right, guys. Well, there's the little catch up. As you can see, it actually went pretty well down there. Oh, I've still got this little blob in here. I've got to figure out which direction the hair is going to go. Probably kind of like this. Because it's going to be laying on the shoulder there. And the other thing I have to keep in mind, okay, and remember, don't judge anything by how it looks right now, because the painting really will make a huge difference. It is a big part of making it look like her, because you figure with canvas, when you're doing an actual painting, I mean, you're starting with a blank thing, and then the paint on a blank piece of paper becomes a portrait. Well, if you think of this as kind of a blank piece of paper but with contour, then you got to figure that the painting that goes on top of that will then bring the character out, if that makes sense. But there we go. So there's side. And too, getting eyeballs in her head will make a big difference. Eyeballs, eyebrows. So anyway, that's where we are at. And I will continue on and hopefully have this done in time. I got this upper part done, and I've got to attach the arms to it. I've been having problems getting the arms attached because of the glues not holding right. I just haven't had the right kind of glue. But anyway, I will get back with you all. Bye.